Hello and welcome to this week's YouTube video. Do you know which of your paints are transparent and opaque? Do you know how to use them? Have you ever painted alla prima using transparent paint? Why do this? In today's video, I'm going to show you this recent commission of Macy that I painted using transparent paint. I will show you how, if using these colours correctly, it will give you glorious colour that you just can't get with opaque and semi-transparent paint alone. Firstly, I should say that this painting was done on oil painting paper. This does make using transparent paint a lot easier, as the surface is more absorbent, so you are less likely to lose control of your painting. It is easier to lose control of transparent colours and also muddy up your painting if you do not use the right brush. You'll need a combination of some soft synthetic brushes. I like these flat ones by Artmaster. I find the edge useful if I need a hard edge. They are also great for flicking about and being expressive, as well as laying the paint on the top of the paper a little bit like you would spread jam onto bread. If then I need to lay wet paint onto wet paint or pull my edges around, these long-haired combers are great for that, as they are very soft and won't take paint off. Why use transparent paint? I don't really know how to explain it other than experimenting with transparent colours is definitely worth doing. The colour that you will get from them and the depth that they give to your painting cannot be replicated with opaque or semi-transparent colours. The translucent quality of them will make your painting glow, especially if you paint on high-quality smooth boards. You'll also get really beautiful contrast where you have passages of opaque paint next to areas that are more transparent. I only have 3 transparent colours on my palette, and it is enough to make a huge difference to my paintings because I mix them into pretty much everything. Let's have a look at my palette. I am using cadmium yellow light, opaque, yellow ochre light, semi-opaque, transparent yellow oxide, transparent, cadmium red, opaque, alizarin crimson, semi-transparent, transparent red oxide, transparent, cerulean blue, semi-transparent, ultramarine deep, transparent, titanium zinc white, opaque, and viridian, semi-transparent. I've also mixed up a few other colours, a black red and a black green. When I mix these two together, this gives me my rich black. Notice that this rich black has 3 transparent colours in it, mixed with semi-transparent colours. Notice how my palette is showing through the paint, giving it luminosity. Compare the luminosity of these 2 colours which contain my opaque colour of cadmium red. No light is passing through that paint. This orange is also pretty transparent due to the addition of my oxide red, and these 2 greens also have a level of transparency. Notice how the transparency of your paint makes a difference to how much light passes through the paint on your palette. You will get the same effect on your painting, and this is why I love transparent colours. If I show you the 3 sittings of this cat, you will see I have done it in sections alla prima, so it is possible to get enough paint on your canvas even when working with transparent colours. I use this brush to lay my paint in the first instance. Then if I need to add more colour, which I do with my rich black, I go over with my comber brushes. Transparent paint is very slippery, so you won't need any medium. Let's look at my colour mixing for this painting in a bit more detail. Working with a warm, cool palette makes this very simple. These top colours plus these colours here are my warms. These bottom colours and these colours here are my cools. To make that background grey, I am mixing together my red and green and adding white. This gives me a mid-grey that I can push purple if I want by adding a bit more blue, or I can make it warmer by adding any of my warm colours. I am adding this orange here. This gives me colourful greys. So I'm using split complementary colours of purple, green and orange. Split complementaries will always give you harmony. As there is more white in my background, the luminosity to my paint is less because white is an opaque colour. It will also overpower your mixes very easily. You'll find the transparent colours will hold their tinting strength well even when added to white. The cat's markings are very unusual, so I really had to think about the colour combinations I used. However, I always stick to my complementary colour palette. This is my red and green and my blue and orange. You'll notice in my black areas the painting transitions between warm and cool. Remember, white is a cool colour, so it will automatically cool these two colours down and give me a grey which can be either more red or green depending upon how much of each I add. This gives me two very extreme blacks. If I want a black that sits more in the middle, that you see in this area here, I just add transparent yellow to this mix. Transparent yellow will not affect the value of these two colours, and when I add white to it, it gives me more of a balanced grey. This gives me a really lovely range of blacks and greys that are largely transparent and really make the fur on my cat come alive. I am using these two mixes of blacks exactly as I would use a pre-mixed ivory black. As the colour of my cat's fur shifts into oranges, I begin to add this orange to this mix, and where I want the orange much stronger, I will add this one. Remember, this mix is more opaque than this one, so it will overpower my colours quickly. I use it sparingly. To get these cooler areas of orange, I add this blue and white to this orange. You'll see I've also pushed some of my darker passages into these cool blues. This blue looks really beautiful when placed directly next to my orange. You can really see the luminosity of the paint in these cooler areas. Be careful not to overdo your rich black in your mid-tone areas. If your painting begins to look muddy, you've overdone it and used too much colour that sits in the middle. You need to push it out to the extremes of red next to green and orange next to blue. Use your complementary pairings to help you. This will give you a balance of temperatures, warm and cool, which is essential for your painting to work. I hope you have enjoyed today's video and found it useful. Please like and subscribe if you can, and check out my website sarahhallidayart.com, where you will find examples of my work and also details of online classes that I run. Thank you for watching and see you for the next one.